All right. So, hello everyone, and welcome to today's session on the online Master of Science in Electrical and Computer Engineering. Today's session is going to be co-hosted by our Michigan Tech Global Campus, which is where I am from, and our College of Engineering. My name is Amanda Irwin. I'm the Graduate Admissions Manager for our Global Campus. And before we review today's agenda, I just want to cover a couple of housekeeping items. So we do ask that you keep your microphone on mute and your cameras off while we present, just to prevent any feedback and ensure that everyone can hear everything that we're saying. And we also encourage you along the way to post any questions that you might have in the chat feature inside the Zoom call here. So a little bit of an icebreaker so you know where that chat feature is. We would love to know where you are joining us from and maybe what the temperature is out there today too. And so with that, we'll go ahead and get started. An agenda, so you know what to expect here in the session. I'll do a couple of brief introductions and we'll do an overview of Michigan Tech. Then we'll dive right into the details of the electrical and computer engineering program. We'll review a couple degree pathways and give you some samples there, and then transition into important next steps if you want to move forward with applying to our program. And then we'll wrap things up with a Q&A section. So this is just a really nice picture of our campus there. You can see it kind of on the left of the canal with all of those buildings. But if anybody's ever in the area up in Houghton, we'd highly encourage you to visit the campus. It's a really beautiful place. Presenting with me today, so again, I'm Amanda. I'm the Graduate Admissions Manager for our global campus. Dr. Wayne Weaver is our chair for the Electrical and Computer Engineering program, and also a professor in our Mechanical and Aerospace Engineering department too. So he will be presenting the program information alongside me. And then Shelly Gallia, our Marcom manager, is going to be helping in the background, monitoring the chat feature, sending out helpful links along the way, and just keeping us on track today. So a little bit about Michigan Tech, if you're not familiar. We were founded in 1885 with a focus at the time on metallurgy, mining engineering, and technology to support the local copper mining industry. We were originally known as Michigan Mining School. As of February 2025, though, we are now designated as an R1 university by the Carnegie Classification of Institutions of Higher Education. So that formally is placing Michigan Tech among the top research universities in the US. We're one of 187 universities nationally out of more than 4,000 institutions to earn this designation based on our research activity and the number of doctoral degrees that we award each year. We're really, really proud of that designation. If we fast forward 140 years from our founding, we are now a STEM university focusing on science, technology, engineering, and math. Our enrollment is over 7,400 students in our graduate and undergraduate degree programs. About 80% of that is our undergraduate students. About 20% of that makes up our graduate school population. We have 5 colleges with over 140 programs. That includes business, computing, engineering, forest resources and environmental science, and sciences and arts. And more recently, our global campus was launched in 2021 and continues to grow with over 40 degree and certificate programs that are available fully online. So that's just a little bit about Michigan Tech. And now we'll transition to the details on the electrical and computer engineering program, and I'll hand things over to Dr. Weaver.
Thank you, Amanda. So, yes, my name's Wayne Weaver. I'm the chair of ECE. I've been a professor here at Michigan Tech for about 18 years, and so I've got a lot of experience between the few different departments and online teaching, and as well as when I was in grad school, I also did online. My master's partially online too, so I kind of know how the other side of this process works and how it feels to be a distance learning online student. So. If you could go to the next slide. So the department at Michigan Tech, ECE department, is we're about the second largest department in the whole university. The biggest is mechanical and aerospace. So effectively, I think we've got 100 and 130 undergrad students, about 90 master's students, and about 40 PhD students. So we're a pretty large department. We have a lot of globally recognized research in three main areas: electrical engineering, computer engineering, and robotics engineering. So we pride ourselves on an education program and curriculum that kind of really is industry leaning. You know, you'll get the theory, you'll get the hard theory. Yeah, we really push the limits of understanding on the theoretical side, but we have a very strong emphasis on applications to industry and improving engineering systems in general. So the department's been around for a while, not quite as long as the university, but the Department of Electrical and Computer Engineering was founded in 1928. So we're actually coming up on our centennial year in a couple of years. So not next year, the year after. So we're going to have to plan some big activities for that. But we've also been a long time online learning department. So even well before Global Campus was founded, the ECE department's been offering online courses since the 1990s, I think. I started here in 2007, and I started teaching online classes ever since then as well. So yeah, next slide. So the master's degree in electrical and computer engineering is highly flexible and personalized to your needs and what you're looking for. So you could have a 100% online interdisciplinary degree. So as part of the degree, and I'll go into some more details here in a little bit, is that you can personalize it not just in electrical engineering, but if you have an interest in some of the mechanical engineering or physics or things that want to mix in with your goals and needs, then that is highly possible. But in general, it's the master's degree is 30 credits. Most online classes are 3 credits, so it's about 10 courses if you do a coursework based master's degree. So there are no core specific required classes for the master's degree. So meaning that there's not one class that everybody has to take. There's some requirements about the credits and the limits, but there isn't a specific class and there isn't a specific path for everybody to take too. So that's why we call it kind of highly flexible and highly customized for your needs. If you were a Michigan Tech student, undergraduate student, we have an accelerated option available where it kind of helps you use some of your credits from your senior year into the master's program. Um, but in general, what will happen when you apply, you'll work with our graduate advisor to create your own custom degree. What your interests are, what's going to help you in your industry, the job, or the job that you have now, or the job that you want to get in the future. So a lot of times, you might be working for a company at the moment where you've got a specific job that your employer is supporting you to through the educational program. So working with your employer, if that is a possibility, that is also a great way to incorporate your daily work life and understand and work it into the educational process too. So you can learn, you can customize your plan to do help that support that your work needs. Um, as part of the program, so the master's degree is 30 credits, but we also have what are called certificates that you can get along the way. A certificate is sort of like a minor in the graduate program, but it's what they call stackable. So most certificates are 9 credits. There's a few that are 15 credits, but every certificate is also completely double counted for the master's degree. So you get, three 9 credit certificates, and all those 27 credits would 100% count towards the 30 credit requirements for the master's degree. So you could take up some other requirements. You could take up to 12 credits from outside the ECE department. So 12 credits could be from physics or mechanical engineering or biomedical engineering. But we highly suggest that you talk to the graduate program advisor when you're laying out your interest and your plan to get those approved before taking them. So not all credits are applicable to the EC degree. Um, So we've been doing the online master's degree for a long time. So we have a lot of strong industry support and alumni that's gone through this process. So it's a highly respected degree in electrical and computer engineering. So next slide. So all of our courses that are available through the program are online. Not all courses, I shouldn't say, not all courses are online, but we have many courses that through the online program are 100% online. You'll have access to some well-designed and engaging courses. We try to follow the best practices for online learning and distance learning. So this is just an example of what it's called Canvas. It's sort of our online learning system. So the courses are laid out in a very logical way, hopefully that is more engaging and helps the student you interact with the material and the professor through each course. And the courses are 100% online, and they're asynchronous, so you don't have to attend lectures at a specific time. But in general, that you have to kind of follow the due dates, along the way, every week homework is due or something, but those can be very flexible as well. Most instructors understand you have a work life that you need to have work travel, and we could work around those requirements as well. So next slide. So in the electrical and computer engineering degree, we have lots of areas that you can focus on. Again, this is where the highly flexible aspects come into play. So you could focus on automotive systems or controls, power systems. Power systems is probably one of our most popular and strongest areas. Power systems being, the electric power grid. We have a very strong program in electric power grid, but we're adding more courses and more content in robotics, AI, communications, and aerospace systems. So very flexible, very customizable for what your interests are and what your career goals are going to be. So next slide. So these are just a couple of scenarios. Now, again, the whole program is very customizable for each person, but this is a couple of scenarios that are fairly common that we see people going through. So for example, master's degree in ECE, 30 credits, like I said, some of the main requirements is that you have 18 credits that are at the 5,000 level. So 5,000 level courses are the graduate courses. 4,000 courses are the senior undergraduate courses. So we do allow people to take up to 12 credits of 4,000 level courses. You don't have to take 12 credits. You don't have to take any of the 12 of the 4,000 level if you don't want to, but you can take, sometimes there's some very good senior level classes that will help you in your program. So one of the requirements, 30 credits total, 18 credits of 5,000 or higher. 12 credits of 4,000, up to 12 credits of 4,000 outside the department. Another requirement that's actually not on here is that you have to have at least 15 credits from the ECE department. So 15 credits that could be either 5,000 or 4,000 levels. So those are the main requirements for the degree. Otherwise, it's pretty flexible and customizable. So I think we're going to get into another scenario, possible scenario in the next video. So for example, if somebody's working or wants to work in the power transmission field or working for a power transmission company, for example. So we have a certificate that's 15 credits called the Advanced Electric Power Engineering Certificate. These are an example of some courses that would fulfill that certificate, but there's a long laundry list of options for that particular certificate, and that would be 15 credits. And then in addition, electric power often has a lot of implications for public policy, where to build transmission lines, how it impacts the general population. So there is a public policy certificate out of our social sciences department. So that is a scenario that you could get that certificate, which is 9 credits. And then that would just leave 2 more classes, 6 credits of just something that would be interesting or of interest for you to take. For example, introductions to sustainability and resilience out of the engineering department, and then possibly things like a wind power or other renewable courses that we have available online as well. So again, this is just one possible scenario. I think we have another one. The next slide. So this is a scenario like if you're interested more on the automotive system side, working for an automotive company or OEM or supplier. So we have another 15 credit certificate that is in hybrid electric vehicles. So this is an example that would give you 15 credits. And then we also have a 9 credit certificates that is automotive systems and controls, which leaves then about 6 credits of free electives that you can think about it, 2 more courses that you'd have to take. In this scenario, because these 2 certificates have a few out-of-department courses, like the mechanical one, most of the control system certificates there, actually, there is a double E version for some of those. But we would have to be careful to make sure that you have enough ECE certificates. So that's where meeting with your graduate program advisor or myself to plan out your program is going to be important to make sure that you have the right blend of courses. So next slide. So this is another scenario. So for example, if you're interested in controls and manufacturing side of things, we have an online control system certificate that is 9 credits. We also have a manufacturer engineering certificate, which is 9 credits, and that would leave 12 credits left. You could find another certificate that you might be interested, like the public policy that would do it, or you just pick 12 credits that are of interest. 9 would be from the ECE department to fulfill the in-department course requirements for that too. So hopefully, through some of these scenarios, you see that this is very customizable and flexible for what you're interested in and where you want to go. So next slide. So there's another possible scenario. So we have a new program that's kind of being focused on software-defined vehicles. It's kind of related to the automotive world. So there's a certificate that's just brand new coming from this computer science department for robust and embedded software. So those credits, 9 credits for the computer science department would count as out-of-department courses. And then you could take a ECE courses in embedded controls, which is there's three courses listed there, and then you've got another option for 9 or 12 credits of electives or other things that would be of interest in the controls and automotive world that would fit for that degree focus area. Next slide. So hopefully you've got the idea, and information that it's highly flexible. You can customize your program to whatever your interests are, whatever your employer is supporting. But the key is to plan ahead. So meeting with a graduate program advisor, after your application to kind of plan out your courses. But even in that process of planning out your courses, it needs to be somewhat flexible. That needs to be also flexible. Course offerings sometimes change over the years, so we need to revisit your course plan probably at least once a year, I would say, to meet with the advisor to kind of review what you've accomplished and what you need to finish in a timely manner. So the main point is to stay in touch and make sure that we review your progress on a very regular basis. Next slide. So we have lots of resources. For online learning, we have a dedicated global campus outreach program. So Amanda is very active in helping people get set up with resources that we have. But the resources for courses are the same as on-campus students. So you'll be taking pretty much for all the classes, not, I should say every one of them, but the majority of the classes that you'll be taking as an online student, there is a on-campus class happening at the same time that you will have you may have interactions with on-campus students for resources, chats. You could talk to the professors and have access to other resources in the university. For example, looking at there's a writing center here on campus. There's career advising. You can look at the graduate student government, disability services for accessibility through the online program, all available as an online student, just the same as any on-campus student. So next slide. So I think this is where I'll hand it back over to Amanda.
Awesome. Thank you, Dr. Weaver, for all the good information and the sample pathways for the program. If what you saw was of interest and you're ready to move forward with next steps, just want to talk through what those next steps are going to look like for you. So definitely want to just review the admission requirements for the program. So in any of our graduate degree programs, it is a basic requirement for you to have an accredited bachelor's degree. Now, for this program in particular, we're looking for students to have a background in electrical engineering, computer science, computer engineering, mechanical engineering, physics, or other related area, engineering adjacent area. So there are some specific courses that they're going to be looking for in your undergraduate studies. So these are the areas that we're looking for students to be coming from. Admitted applicants usually have an undergraduate GPA of 3.0 or higher on a 4-point scale. That is not like a hard cutoff. You could still apply to the program if you didn't have a 3.0. I would suggest it's probably pretty close. Within the application requirements, there's an opportunity to explain if there was some circumstance or like a bad semester that contributed to a slightly lower GPA, or if you've got some really good work experience to couple with that, would still encourage you to apply. But typically the students who are admitting into this program have a 3.0 or higher on a 4-point scale. And then when we talk about what those admission requirements are, part of the application process is going to include that you submit educational transcripts. So you'll upload some transcripts, you'll upload a resume that shows some work experience. There is a personal statement and a statement of purpose that you'll write. And so statement of purpose is going to have more of a focus on what your career and education goals are. That personal statement is going to give you an opportunity to tell us more about yourself, what's unique about you, if there were any barriers you've had to overcome, or if there was a gap in your application that you wanted to explain. Just gives you an opportunity to talk about it there. And then there is an option for you to include letters of recommendation. They are not required for the application, like the transcripts, the resume, the 2 statements are requirements, have to have those. Recommendation letters are optional for you. So if you'd like to include those with your application, you can. It is typically preferred that a student have at least one academic reference when possible. We do understand that a lot of students that are studying online are online because they're working. And if they're working, they may be pretty far removed from keeping those academic relationships. So a good, solid professional recommendation would be fine as well. Someone who can speak to your successes is what you're looking for. And then just wanted to comment that the accelerated program would have some additional requirements. So if you are an MTU alum and you've graduated within the last 6 semesters, so basically within the last 2 years, it's possible you could be considered for the accelerated program. There is a GPA requirement on that. And of course, it would require some additional conversation and planning with graduate program director advisor. So would encourage you to just seek out those conversations, chat with me, chat with that program director if you are an MTU alum and within that window. The other thing we'd want to mention too is there's no GMAT or GRE. There's no entrance exams that are required for our application for admission. And the application is free for you to submit. This just kind of walks us through what the process is going to look like. So you will create an application portal account. After you create that portal account with an email and a password, you'll then insert an application for admission. When you insert your application for admission, it's just important that you fill that out in order because the answer to each question is going to populate the fields for the subsequent questions. So just fill it out in order. But as you're moving through that, you'll select your program of interest, you'll select the semester you're interested in applying to. And when you complete and submit that, that's going to then populate an admissions checklist within your portal account. And that's where you would upload those documents that I mentioned, the transcripts, the resume. It's where you'd insert your student statements. If you were collecting recommendations, that's where you would see those come into the system as well. So it gives you just a nice checklist for you to work through. So you definitely can get started with your application and keep track of your progress as you're coming back to it and adding items to that application. Once all of your documents are submitted and your application is marked as complete, it goes through a quick review process with our admissions office just to make sure everything you uploaded was everything that we needed. And then it goes to the program for review and an admission decision. For this particular program, the person that makes the decisions is usually really quick. He's in his queue almost daily. So I would guess that you would have an admission decision at most within 2 weeks, but probably within a couple of days of completing your application. And then if you have any questions at all throughout the process, any specific questions after this session, If you are hung up on a step in your application, you're getting some sort of error, having any other issue, or you just want to talk through some different scenarios, would highly encourage you to meet with me. That's my job, is to have those conversations and give you some guidance up front as you move through the admissions process. So we'll share a link in the chat to my calendar. Feel free to schedule a virtual or a phone appointment with me, and I'm happy to chat through all of the questions that you might have. If you've got some really specific program questions that you're eager to have an answer to, Dr. Weaver, who presented today, and Dr. Oliviera, who is our program director, who wasn't able to join us today, would be happy to help answer those real specific questions. So there is a contact email address there, the ecegradadvise@mtu.edu, that's monitored by a few different people in the department, and they're usually quick to get an answer back to you if you have specific questions. But with that, we'll just talk about what the next semester is that you could apply to. So our fall semester begins Monday, August 31st, and there is still time to apply to that term. So there's not a hard set application deadline either. We are considered rolling admission. So as students apply and complete their applications, they'll be reviewed and an admission decision posted for them. So we will continue to admit students until the semester begins on August 31st. I would encourage students that are interested in the fall semester to try and have your applications completed within the next couple of weeks, maybe into that first weekish in July, just to give yourself some processing time cushion. So after you're admitted, you still have to get your student login information. You'll want to meet with the graduate program director for some help with scheduling and planning your classes. You'll want to be able to plan financially for when your bill is due the Wednesday before the semester begins. So just to handle some of that processing time, I would suggest getting your stuff done in the next few weeks here for fall. And then if you're not ready to start in the fall semester, we do have our spring application available right now as well. Definitely still some more time for you to prepare for that term. And that will begin on Monday, January 11th this year. So with that, we'll open it up for questions. I think at this point, I will go ahead and stop our recording, and then we can either go off mute, or if there's questions that have been collected in the chat, we'll go ahead and answer those questions for you guys. So definitely want to thank you for joining us, and just give me 1 second here to close out this recording.